Hello everyone and welcome back to more When the Night Comes! Yay! I know it's been so long since we've seen this game and I know you guys are probably a little bit less interested, let's be real, a little bit less interested in this gameplay and me going through the routes over again because like compared to like Amnesia or Mystic Messenger, but I just remembered quite randomly that I left this game basically like midway doing, I think, Finn's route. Yes, Finn's route, and I was like saying how I need to get this all the way out of the way in order for us to do and to go through all the other characters that we haven't really necessarily experienced in terms of romancing. So I don't like leaving things unfinished, and it's my bad that I did for this one. I'm so sorry. It's a great game, I swear. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna continue on where we left off on Finn's route in the last episode. If you guys want to check that out just to refresh yourself, but basically TLDR, we have come to the point where we're romancing Finn individually, and we just defeated the monster, the chimera, the whatever the hell, that thing, yes. So we beat it, we killed it, and then we passed out from blood loss. We've gone through the whole flashback, or going through the whole like what's it called, like limbo sort of phase, like a phase where we meet James again and he tells us some important things and he shows us like flashbacks of when we first were initiated as hunters, and then we came back, and then this is here, we are back in Finn's room, and yeah, so we can this is the part where we can get sexy with him or not, but let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and continue on. Let's just kiss him because it's the first thing we see after our little comatose state. So I'm grateful that to be alive again. So he stares at me for a moment, lips parted, and then he pulls me close, one hand cupping the line of my jaw in a heartbreakingly tender touch. Yes, I'm back. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I've been so worried. Oh, I'm so sorry. I curl my fingers in the fabric of his shirt and he feels good, solid, and finally it dawns on me that I'm awake. Yes, alive. I'm alive! The sudden press of his mouth is the welcome shock, his lips tilted up into a soft smile against my own. He makes a quiet sound, one of relief, the kiss achingly sweet, but still somehow urgent. When he pulls away, he regards me with such a fondness that my heart aches. A lot of aching. I mean, probably my body aches too, from this whole ordeal. Then, as if he regretted putting distance between us, he kisses me again. This kiss is rougher, a little hotter, and I gasp against his lips when he licks his way into my mouth. Wow, Finn, calm down. He pulls back again, leaving me wanting more, tension humming thick between us. I missed that. Missed you. Aww. His voice is stupidly raspy, and he poorly stifles a smug grin when I shiver at the sound of it. I've lost too many people I care about. The universe has been cruel to me, but I knew you wouldn't go out so easily. So easy. Yes, I know. It's gonna take a lot more to kill me than just some, like, chimera. It'll take more than a flesh wound to take me from you. Yes. His mattress is so soft beneath me, his sheets warm, and I couldn't possibly feel any safer despite the persistent dread that soils in the pit of my stomach. Okay, he smiles, his thumb brushing over the apple of my cheek. How long have I been out? I think it was like weeks? 2 days? No, I'm sorry. 2 days. Ezra did an excellent job at healing you, but we couldn't get you to wake up. Yeah. As he speaks, my hand unconsciously reaches to press over my ribs to the place where blood had soaked my palms where that thing had struck me. I feel no pain, not even an ache, and only one thing plagues my mind. Did we really do it? Is it really dead? Yes, it is. He smiles, shifting a little closer to me, his legs tucked up beneath him. You did it, and you were incredible, but it's a group effort. I suspect I'm going to meet some resistance in making him take some of the credit, but having him at my side undoubtedly makes killing that thing possible. We did it, together, yes. Another smile, more playful this time, and he forces a heavy, dramatic sigh. Very well, but I merely assisted. You were forced to be reckoned with, and that thing didn't stand a fucking chance. Thank you. The bad guy is gone, and now you can finally rest. Not really. There's someone else. Bad guy, yes. I think about what James said. You killed him. Him. Yes. I huff a quiet laugh, and I wonder if I truly have gone mad this time. Conversations with the voice in my head was bad enough, and now he's taking me on a cryptic trip down memory lane too? Yes. I don't think that the creature was our true enemy, not even close. Just a pawn. Yes. Finn narrows his eyes at me, and I wonder if my thoughts are loud enough for him to hear. What do you mean? Yes. I'm not sure if you'd believe me if I told you. He quirks his brow, tilting his head. Yeah, how about you try me? I took a deep breath, his touch soothing me. I had a dream, I think. Maybe something more, but James was there. Yeah. We spoke and he showed me memories, his, mine. Yes, tell him about the initiation. Okay, we're gonna tell him about James. We're gonna tell him about everything. We're gonna tell everything about it. I saw the academy, my academy. It felt so real, like I was really there. James took me through the initiation. I'd forgotten everything, any memories of it wiped. I swallowed thickly, staring deep into his eyes, gauging his reaction as the words spilled from my mouth. The ritual, yes. I take a deep breath. I gotta drink a bunch of blood. Yeah, they fed us blood. Vampire, demon, lycan, fae, that's what made me what I am. Yes, Finn doesn't falter, doesn't flinch. His unnatural stillness doesn't usually bother me, but in this moment I need a reaction from him. Something in me tells... something to tell me everything is going to be okay, even if it doesn't feel that way right now. Then he takes my face in his hands, his gaze fierce. Nothing could ever make you less human, do you understand? Yeah. Aww. I laugh, unsurprised that he could be so right about what I'm thinking. I curl my fingers around his wrist, holding his hands to my face, leaning into his touch. I believe it will simply take some time to process. I'm sorry they did that to you. They have no right. His frustration is palpable, mirroring mine. And then Harry and James. Yes, of course. So I saw Harry and James together. It was almost as if James was trying to tell me something by showing me pieces of his memories of them. So James wrote Harry a letter that night he died, and they argued prior to that. James kept asking him to think about what he was doing. I got the impression he felt a lot of guilt over what happened, and he told me that he should have killed the creature when he had the chance. Something made him hesitate, and that wasn't like James, not in the slightest. Like most hunters, he always knew that hesitation means death. I nod, remembering James's words, his disappointment in himself. The thing that killed him, or the person that killed him, he knew them. Yes, that's why he hesitated, that's why he died, yes. Finn drags his iron palm over his face, disbelief clouding his features. We sit in silence for a moment, and eventually, Finn breaks it with some good news. While you rested the clan rescue Friero, it went well, but they haven't even bothered to come looking for him. Don't you find that strange? That they would lose a supposedly valuable prisoner and not give a shit. They know where he is, they're not complete morons. They could very well be on to us. They could, and after what you've just told me, I can't help but think that's why they held him, to make more of whatever nasty concoction they fed you, to make more hunters? Yes, it is exactly what it is. I cannot be certain, but everything James said makes me believe that it runs so much deeper than that. Surely they haven't gathered the blood in such a violent manner all this time. Surely they have deals, something. I feel like it runs so much deeper than that. Then a thought. Finn has been around for centuries, since before the Enforcers or the Hunter's Order was even a concept. Do you remember the first Hunters? Yeah. He averts his gaze, his eyes suddenly sad, and I get the horrible feeling that I've said something wrong. I do, yes. I was in Alclea on Revelation Day, where it all began. I'm not sure if they were true hunters then, or even when the Order was truly formed, but they were just normal humans. They fought and most of them died. Maybe that's why they sought to find something to make them stronger. Because they wouldn't stand a chance against you, otherwise we wouldn't. He smiled sadly, shaking his head. No, you wouldn't, but they still put up a bloody good fight. That's why Levi and I came here. I find myself flinching at the mention of Finn's sire's name. Yes. What about me? Could you tell that there was something wrong with me? Quickly, Finn dips his head to catch my gaze, his brow deeply furrowed. It's always been obvious that you're different. Normal humans don't have your agility, stamina, and all the other little quirks that make you, you. Yeah. Even then, we've certainly never thought of your kind as monsters. There's never been the slightest inkling that you were all created with the blood of my kind. That should tell you all you need to know about what you are, Hannah. Aw, there's nothing wrong with you. You're still human, every bit of you. I know that he speaks the truth, that Finn would never lie to me about such a thing. It doesn't make me feel any better about what I've learned about myself, but it's a start. It's my origin story, you have to accept it. My mind swims, and the urgency I feel to fix this almost suffocates me. Finn snaps me from my momentary panic, taking my chin between forefinger and thumb and urging me to look at him. Tomorrow, you deserve to rest a little longer. Wouldn't you say? You will still save the day, I promise you that. I suspect I have little choice, if the way he's looking at me is anything to go by. As I dare to allow myself to relax a little, I look closer and notice macrobra petals of purple blooming underneath Spinz's eyes, something that vampires certainly shouldn't have unless you haven't been feeding. Then I remember the creature striking him, the glimpse of a claw mark under his shirt. I reach out and Finn flinches, his palm pressed firmly over his chest and the other curling around my wrist. I'm fine. No, you're not. He's lying. I scoff, pulling my hand free of his careful grip and fixing him with a stern gaze. I try again, and this time he lets me unbutton his shirt, and I peel the dark fabric off his broad shoulders and let it fall to the floor so I can study the wound. Ouch. It's shallow, but something has quite clearly stopped it from healing as quickly as it should, if at all. The skin that surrounds it is red, angry, and dark fissures are stark pale against white. Are stark against pale white. Yeah, why didn't Ezra heal you? Because you didn't tell him. Because I wanted him to heal you. He was so weak from the ritual, and he'd happily make himself sick, expending the rest of his energy, so... you didn't tell him. Yeah, I didn't tell him. Yes, I knew it. That thing, it was no normal creature. You could get sick. He hums quietly, contemplating my statement. Finn is not stupid, and I know that he's aware of the implications of leaving such a wound untended, but apparently his stubbornness knows no bounds when it comes to keeping me safe. I flatten my palm over the place where his heart should be, and he smiles sadly and takes my hand. His skin is so soft against my own, and without hesitation he's lacing our fingers together, squeezing tightly. The candles that surround us flicker gently, and I almost forget where we are as I watch the way the light dances across his sharp features. Those golden eyes are bright and disarming as they meet my own, and I've learned many things about vampires in my time as a hunter, but even a fool could deduce what Finn requires. You need to feed, yes. It's a statement, not a question, and his expression quickly shifts into something stoic. It was truly only a matter of time before this came up, the reality of dating a vampire. But, come on now, is it like a pro or is it a con here, you know? I stopped hunting when I met Ezra, though I had little choice being bedridden after my little incident. He glances down at his prosthetic, the magic that flows through it pulsing as he spreads and closes his fingers, turning his palms in what I've come to notice is a habit of his. After he saved me, I could no longer bear the thought of hurting someone like him any longer. He changed my life, saved my life, and continued to assist me in becoming a better man. That included agreeing to allow me to feed on him so that I wouldn't have to seek that elsewhere and risk hurting anyone. He looks at me expectantly, almost as if he's waiting for me to tear my hand from his to run, but no, I stay. Witch's blood is potent. It keeps us sustained for a lot longer than any normal human would, which means I didn't need to feed that often. But I haven't fed for months, and with everything that's been going on recently, yeah. So yes, I need to feed, but I'm not leaving your side, not yet. Hey now, you can feed on me! You can feed on me! Yes, I'ma do it. I'ma offer, yes, come get your juice. Do it. Yes, I feel the words rolling off my tongue before I even finish my next thought. Tell me what it's like. Yes, what it feels like? I nod. For you. He swallows thickly, almost as if the action pains him, like thinking about it has made him realize just how hungry he is. The way I feel when I feed on someone I'm close with is... Heat boils in the pit of my stomach, spiking high when Finn's eyes drop down to my parted lips, then my throat. It's something euphoric, like in that moment nobody else exists but them and I can feel everything they feel, everything they want, like we've become one. As if compelled, I reach up and carefully cup my hand over his jaw, brushing my thumb over a sharp cheekbone. I watch as his eyes darken. It's the most subtle of shifts, but I see it, for I committed his features to memory long before tonight. I want that with you. I want you to feed on me. Yes! He bites his lips, his fingers twitching against my own as he watches me intently. He's probably waiting for me to falter to take back my words, but I meant it. You trust me after what you saw in that forest? But I don't care, girl. Do it again. I do trust him implicitly, and it terrifies me. I do, more than anyone. Please, Finn, let me help you. Like you've helped me. He smiles, and the flash of his razor-sharp fangs that I'm granted sends just shivered rolling down my spine. The sight of them is strangely thrilling, a confirmation that the fear that's been so ingrained in me is long dead. We unconsciously edge closer to one another, the mattress creaking under the shift of our bodies. I feel a shocking coil of heat low in my stomach as Finn swipes his thumb over my lips, making me shiver. I'm practically swaying, and it's terrifying how powerful he is, as if any moment he could somehow unmake me with such a simple touch. I mean, we're getting there. He continues his ministrations, running his forefinger along the column of my throat, and I tilt my head in invitation, exposing my neck and telegraphing my surrender. It feels strange to realize how willing I am to expose myself to him like this, to become the hunted rather than the hunter for once in my life. I need to hear you say it again. I'm hyper aware of the weight of this moment, holding my breath as I take his iron hand in mine, guiding his fingers to the button of my shirt. He narrows his eyes, his smile deadly, and he slowly begins unbuttoning, pushing the fabric off my shoulders. Take whatever you need, it's yours. Yes. He groans quietly, leaning in to catch my lips with his own in the briefest of kisses before he begins his descent, running his nose along the edge of my jaw, breathing me in. His lips are pressed close to the bared arch of my throat, inspecting my offering. I've never felt so exposed, like a frayed nerve, and at the same time, I've never wanted anything more. To be marked, to be his. He loaded my skin with reverent kisses, so gentle in his build-up, and then I feel his fangs gently graze my flesh, his fingers tight where they grip my waist, almost as if he's holding back. Please, pretty please, the cherry on top. He growls softly, the whites of his eyes shifting to black in a blink, and then he bites me. The pain is quick, hot, and blinding, the penetration fleetingly resistant. There's bliss, and then there's a euphoria that's Finn's teeth nestle deep into my skin. He cradles my head, his fingers tangling into my hair, an intimate hold, my body crooning in approval as I arch against him. The ache fades almost as if as fast as it has blossomed, and my pulse flickers wildly as he saps the blood from my veins. We fall back against the mattress, our bodies seem tight as I bow helplessly against him. I've never felt more alive, and it's like I can feel his every thought, his every desire. There's a perfect lilting chorus of my name playing on loop in his mind. Yes. I moan, the noise breaking as if falls from my lips, and suddenly I can truly feel him everywhere. Yay! A CG, yes! He pulls away faster than I expected, and strangely, I almost missed the pain. He soothes the marks with his tongue, lapping up any stray droplets that coat my overheated skin. When he sits back, his eyes meet mine, and the sight of him snatches the breath from my lungs. His lips parted on a breath, and he slowly sucks crimson from his fangs. Blood, my blood. Gone is the purple beneath his eyes, and before me sits Finn in all of his perfection. You taste like heaven. Thank you. I'm glad. Then he's kissing me, the faint taste of copper warm upon his tongue as it eagerly glides against my own. He covers me, my legs eagerly winding around his waist. I drag my hands down his bare chest, and I register that his wound is healed, nothing but a memory. My senses are thrown into overdrive, everything that little bit brighter, vivid. My fingers trace every perfect dip and curve of his muscles, every previously unnoticeable scars, wanting to know the story behind each perfect sliver of imperfect skin, to know who marked him and why. Then he says my name, and it feels like the world has stopped turning. Hannah, yes, yes! There we go, yes, yeah, boy, yes. Yes. He watches me, hovering over me, but careful to give me space while I process where I am, what just happened. Finn. A palpable tension hums between us, an unspoken desire that we both seem to feel, a heat, an awareness. I hope that the way I'm looking at him can convey what I want, what I crave, and the way he presses me closer to me tells me that it might. The way he presses closer to me tells me that it might, yeah. He takes both of my hands, lacing our fingers together, raising my arms, and pinning them above my head against the mattress. Wow, okay, okay. He places his lips near my ear, and in that low, whiskey smooth tone, tell me what you want, Hannah. Oh my god, yes! 50 Shades of Grey, except sign me up if Christian Grey is Finn. His name is Finn. You, I want you. Yes. With a quiet growl, Finn slowly drags his hands down my arms, over my ribs, stomach, waist, hips. He hooks his thumbs in the waistband of my underwear, and the shred of fabric is deeply gratifying. Finally, skin to skin, and Finn kisses me for what feels like an eternity. His hands roam my body endlessly, and I respond to his talented administrations like wildfire. He takes his time to make sure I'm comfortable, ready, and his next words are a whisper muffled against my lips. What? You're so beautiful. Oh, shut up. My arms are still obediently raised over my head, and I carefully study him for a quiet moment. When I look at Finn, I see someone that I trust, someone who, no matter what, will be there for me always. Life is so uncertain, and yet in Finn, I found something solid, something real. Someone that... I love you, Hannah. You took the words right out of my mouth, boy. He smiles, likely because my heart is trying to escape my chest. He took the words right out of my mouth. Yes. My thoughts exactly. I exhale sharply, smiling when he presses his forehead to mine, basking in his presence. I love you too. Yes, he kisses me again, softer this time, but it quickly transforms into something hungry, urgent. He moves to my throat, kissing the place where he's marked me. His eyes drag up and down the length of my body in a slow, claiming a caress. I want to make you feel good, then do it. I hum, watching the powerful shift and play of his muscles under cold, pale skin. Yes, just yes. I don't care how you do it, but just yes. Then all I can see is him smiling down at me, his fangs sharp, his eyes bright. The candles that light the room flicker and fade out, and we're left in darkness. Yes, him and me, our bodies joined as one, his name falling from my lips like a prayer until I don't need to speak anymore. Can't speak. My pleas for more caught in my throat, but he can hear me and I can him. It morphs from breathless to beautifully chaotic in a mere instant, both of us clutching to one another with a violent need that borders on devotion. He pushes me closer to the edge with every press of his body, with every whispered affirmation. I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh my god, he's so romantic. And there we go, chapter 7, that's the end of it. We got sexy. Okay, cool. Chapter 8, Just the Dust. We'll continue on with that. So last night almost feels like a dream. Maybe it still does, a little. I smiled to myself, feeling him watching me before I've even opened my eyes. Can you give me a CG? I'm anticipating it. I brushed my fingers over my throat, tracing the bite, the two perfect marks that connect me to him, to Finn. Are you okay? I'm great. And my body thrums with awareness, his proximity almost overwhelming, and everything feels different. I clear my throat, not knowing what to say. I'm okay, more than in fact, but overwhelmed, maybe. Overwhelmed that I could possibly feel this way about someone. I wanted a CG, goddammit. I opened my eyes, turning my head on the pillow to look at him. It's annoying how good he looks, flawless. In fact, minus the mess his hair has become thanks to our, well, yeah. I reached out to brush my thumb over the skin underneath his eyes, the discoloration gone, not an imperfection in sight. Your eyes are still gold, yes. He leans into my touch, long dark lashes fluttering close. I suppose you're just as special as I always assumed then. Not human, you mean. He carefully catches my wrist, those bright eyes flying open to meet my gaze. Then he shakes his head, a devastating smile hooking the corner of his mouth. Human, just different. He says it with such conviction that I can't help but believe him. You're Hana. I smile at the simplicity of the statement. I suppose I am. Finn edges closer, and I fit against the curve of his body perfectly. He curls his fingers in the sheets right over my heart as if seeking out its beat. It sings for him, a helpless flutter every time he touches me, every time he's near. What he said about feeding on someone is true. There's a new familiarity between us now, almost as if I can anticipate his next move, his thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking. Well, why don't you take a look? I'm thinking about you, of course. Should I do that? Like, I'm thinking about you. Always thinking about you. Yes, I offer him a playful smile. What else could I possibly be thinking about other than you? So he purses his lips, his eyes narrowed and dark. He releases his hold upon the sheets, dragging his hands over the curve of my waist, my hip. A low growl, a purr, rumbles in his throat, and I wonder if he's even aware that he's making such a noise. I'll be thinking about last night for centuries to come, you know. Okay! I laugh and his eyes darken as he edges closer. I wish you didn't have to leave. I could think of so many things to keep you occupied. Mind sharing? We have time, fool around. Yes, let's do that. Why not? Like, I don't want to leave you at all, Finn. I feel the same. I thread my fingers through tangles of raven hair, gently tugging, feeling the coolness of his body settling against the warmth of my own. A perfect contrast. Surely it isn't morning yet. We have time, don't we? I mean, I can barely tell down here. Finn tilts his head this way and that, feigning contemplation. Then, without responding, he kisses me with softly parting lips. Each kiss melts so effortlessly into the next, slow, warm, and with the barest hint of a shiver. Finn leans back against the headboard, tugging me after him and into his lap. His knees come up, strong arms and thighs and chest forming a fortress around me. The dark sheets fall away, and all that remains is the delicate drag of iron fingers as they trace the dip and curve of my spine. The mood easily shifts from sensual to something desperate, and it feels like nothing can touch us while we're ensconced in the quiet darkness of his underground quarters. His laugh is dripping with sin when I arch against him, my thoughts loud, detailed. Finn may be undead, but he makes me feel more alive than I thought possible. He kisses the place where he marked me, nuzzling it with the cool tip of his nose. Losing myself in Finn has quickly become second nature, the way we fit together, a beautiful and dangerous thing. Dangerous because I can't see how I could ever tear myself from the impossible comfort of his arms. That is until the door creaks open and Finn groans through clenched teeth when he sees the culprit. Or culprits, yay! And of course we meet Raven and Lux, I think her name was. Yeah, Finn wraps the sheet around me and removes me from his lap with a startling ease. He drags his palm over his face, then through his hair. Uh-huh. What do you two want? Two figures emerge from the darkness of the corridor, wide eyes peeking around the doorframe. Sorry, Finn, she insisted you were alone. Raven squeals with delight as the blonde-haired girl firmly elbows her in the ribs. You two look cozy, yes. She waggles her eyebrows suggestively and Finn hurls a pillow at her, a poorly stifled smile curling at the corners of his lips. Unless there's a reason you're here, then I kindly ask that you get the fuck out. Raven pouts, stepping closer and dragging the other girl by the arm. Don't be rude, Finn again. I want to introduce Hana to Lux, yes. Finn rolls his eyes hard and turns to look at me. I shrug because, well, it's not like this could get any more awkward, is it? It's nice to meet you, Lux. Yeah, she smiles at me empathetically, clearly used to these two strange creatures. It's lovely to meet you too. I've heard a lot about you from both Finn and Raven. I apologize for this. Nah. Raven snorts playfully, nipping at Lux's earlobe. Lux swats her away with an exasperated grumble, her freckled cheeks painted pink. Anyways, we're going to bed. Lux lives that graveyard shift life, and she needs sleep. You kids have fun, won't you? Yes. Toodles. Lux smiles at us once more, waving politely as she's yanked out of the doorway. Okay. I can hear her scolding Raven in the corridor, but their joint laughter echoes out the old stone as their voices disappear. Well, Finn flops back against the mattress and sighs dramatically and unnecessarily. Well, you've come to expect such things now, I suppose. I do apologize, though. Nah, I snort, settling against his side, my head resting perfectly in the crook of his neck. It's fine, I guess I really should think about leaving now anyway. His pout is impressive, and I watch as he reluctantly tears himself from my warmth. Oh, booty! Yay, bod booty. Dang, boy got cake! Look at that cake! Dang, he stretches, though I know he doesn't need to, and I'm hopelessly transfixed by the sight of him. I've had a first-class, up-close lesson in Finnegan Casimir, and it wasn't disappointing. I bet not. The man is sculpted into perfection, and there's that tantalizing expanse of dark hair that covers his chest, winding down between the elegant poised, sharp wings of his hip bones. He catches me staring, and I jerk my hungry eyes back to his face, my cheeks flushed hot. I wasn't totally staring at your ass. Finn offers me a crooked half smile, smug. Can I help you? Can I help you? Probably, yes. Get your fine ass back here. He laughs and the sound snaps me from my daze. Come, I'll help you find your clothes. I sigh, curling my toes against his soft cheeks. Jesus. I sigh, curling my toes against his soft sheets, reluctant to face reality. Oh, if only I could bring that fine ass with me. If you insist. He offers me his hand, ever the gentleman, as he tugs me from the safety of his bed and into his waiting arms. Nothing on this wretched planet could stop me from getting you back in my bed, Hunter. We have time, plenty of it. It's an earnest promise, satisfying, one that makes the thought of heading back to this terrible and unavoidable mission far less terrifying. He takes my chin between forefinger and thumb, his prosthetic glowing brightly. If I weren't so distracted by the way he's looking at me, I'd say it was thrumming in tune with my heartbeat. Love you, Hannah. Yes, I love you too. Our parting kiss is desperate, heating enough to tilt my world on its axis, but a cool hand against my jaw steadies me when we part. I love you too. Yes. Okay. Off we go then to face reality, and then we obviously confront, I think, Harry at this point, so I'm just gonna skip on all of that. Okay, guys, this is actually a very interesting point in which we can make the choice here. Like I said, I've told you a long time ago when we started out this route. We can definitely fully sympathize with Harry, and that will allow us to have that option that when we confront him, we can fully go along with his plans 100% without being like, let's go along with it, but like trick him because, you know, what's it called? Like we are so against it. But I wonder if I should do this. Should I do this to poor Finnegan? I really want to know what would happen if we actually, like, you know, go along with his plans, though. Maybe I should. Maybe I will. I will. Because either way, I'm coming back to the other choices where, like, where we don't do the sexy with Finn. So let's just do that, just because I want to show you guys different options and like different scenarios when we're doing this, so that we don't have to necessarily come back to them, kind of thing. Even though I probably will hate this because I totally do not agree with Harry at all, but let's just do it for science. Let's do it for science. Okay, there we go. This is when Finn comes. Okay, so this is definitely different. So I sympathize with Harry. Ezra just basically asked us, was like, how do you intend to approach him? And so yeah, that's it. So Ezra and I share a smile, and my heart leaps in my chest at the thought of seeing Finn. Yeah, Finn just kind of knocked his way underneath the floorboards here. We both stand, and Ezra reaches to unlatch the lock that keeps the opening to the catacombs locked, while I pull back the rug that covers it. When golden eyes appear in the darkness, I feel a chill roll down my spine. Yes, good evening. Yes, he turns to me, taking my hand and pressing a kiss to my knuckles. I came as soon as I sensed you were here. Hannah's on her way to see August. Yes. So Finn crinkles his nose at that, apparently unimpressed. I see. Well, I was hoping I could steal you away for a little while, actually. Yes. Oh, nothing nefarious. Do not fear. Fiyero longs to speak to you. Oh yes. Oh yeah. We have a conversation with Fiyero, and what Fiyero like found out during his stay there in the dungeons. Oh. Does he have more information? He shrugs. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's not exactly a man of many words, so if he's asked for you, then I take it that he has at least something to tell you. Yes, he definitely isn't just wanting to see how you're doing. So I see. Well, considering I'm still avoiding going to see August, we could go now? I'd be more than happy to escort you. Be good. Oh, we won't. Well, then Finn takes my hand, tugging me towards him and pressing a kiss to my temple. Come then, love. Into the hole you go. Ezra and I both look at him with blank expressions, and he merely rolls his eyes, sighs, and ushers me onwards. Okay. We say goodbye to Ezra, watching as we descend down into the depths of the catacomb tunnels. Yes. He curls his big hands around my waist to help me down, and I brace myself with palms against his chest. He looks at me with a wicked grin, and I can't help the way my body sets alight at the contact, coiled, breathless anticipation sinking deep into my bones. Easy does it. Finn! Shut up. I hate the way my whole body betrays me, because of course he knows, can feel the way I come alive for him. Smug. With a scoff, I playfully push him, and he stumbles away dramatically, clutching his chest. Your words sting, my dear hunter. Now, follow me. Yes. Off we go. Okay, so we can skip on this. So a cold hand brushes over my forehead, and I find relief in his golden eyes. It's okay. He stays close, his presence calming me. You're sure? Yes, okay, so we were a little nervous to speak with Fiyero alone because that's what he wants to do, and of course Finn comforts us. He'd be like, it's okay, it'll be fine. So let's go. So I smile fondly from outside the room, registering how relaxed he's become around me and how at home I feel here with his clan. So then a cold but gentle hand rests upon my arm, and I meet Fiyero's stoic scarlet gaze. He speaks quietly, but his words hit me hard enough to knock the breath from my lungs. I know his heart may no longer beat, but it is no less capable of breaking. I know that I'm not gonna break his... Wait. I was like, I'm not gonna break his heart, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm totally gonna do that if I do what I'm gonna do. I open my mouth to respond, but words fail me. Yes, with a final look, Fiyero disappears into the darkness. I'm assuming we already had our talk. Yes. Whatever he sensed in me, the thought that I could hurt Finn cuts me to the core, and I gather my thoughts before I turn and head to join him. Oh no. Oh shit. I'm gonna ruin everything. I close the door to Finn's quarters behind me, taking stock of the crumpled sheets upon his bed, remembering their warmth and finding it strangely endearing that Finn hasn't bothered to tidy them since I reluctantly dragged myself from them this morning. He appears clutching 2 glasses filled with his favorite poison and huffs a quiet laugh, shaking his head at me. Why make the bed when it's surely going to get messy again, So I scoff, biting my bottom lip to stifle a sly grin that threatens to curl. I'm still getting used to that new awareness of him, low and thrumming and constant in the back of my mind. When he smiles, I fall apart, any glimpse of his fangs coaxing a memory of the dull ache, the sight of him with my blood upon his tongue. Hannah. Yes. I clear my throat, noticing how dark his eyes have gone, black rimmed with gold. Yes. He takes a sip of his drink, his tongue brushing over his lips to chase the taste. I'm not hungry, but I can be if you wish. Oh my goodness gracious. I place my hand over my throat, over where he marked me, and he laughs, a low and satisfying rumble. Come, sit with me. Okay. I'm going to skip on this. Okay, so we take the drink, and we're having a little small heart-to-heart. So he sets his glass aside and moves to stand in front of me, reaching for my hands with his own. When his fingers close around mine, it's like an anxiety I wasn't even aware of has been sated. The world almost doesn't feel right unless I'm touching him anymore. Yes. Then the press of his body as he tugs me close is the best kind of medicine to combat every jumbled thought that crosses my worried mind. He presses his iron palm to my face, and it almost feels like he's staring deep into my soul. Something plagues you, yes. I can feel the wonderful shift and bunch of muscles beneath soft fabric, and when I ignore his question and instead bury my face into the crook of his neck, he smells like a dying summer. Funny, considering he hasn't seen the sun in centuries, but it's a warm scent, even though he himself is so very cold. I'll be fine. Finn huffs, the hairs on my temple rustling at the gentle gust of breath. He brushes his lips over the shell of my ear and murmurs low and deep. The beat of your heart betrays you, Hunter. Yes, I know. He drops his hands on my hips, gently pushing me away. I know he could listen if he wanted to, could just let himself hear what I'm thinking, the thoughts that drown me. But he doesn't, instead letting me decide if I'd like to share my woes. I think about Fiero's words to me as he slipped into the darkness. I'd give anything not to hurt Finn, but I have to do what I feel is right. This doesn't just affect me, it affects everyone. There's so much riding on me, on the decisions I make. I never expected to carry such a burden in coming here. And you shouldn't have to. It isn't fair, what you've had to endure, but you are the kindest, strongest, and most capable hunter I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And I have known many in my time. He smiles, tilting his head. I wouldn't want anyone else deciding my fate but you, my love. Lunaris is lucky to have you on its side, but I am the luckiest man to be able to call you mine. Yes. Aw, yes! Kiss him! Because of what I'm about to do. Mine. Hearing that word, that confirmation, though I already know he's different. He's different? Where does that come from? What? Hearing that word, that confirmation, though I already know he's mine as I am his. It derails my thoughts in an instant. There's an ache in my chest that unfurls for him like a flower at the first touch of rain, and I lean in to brush my lips against his. He kisses me with a ferocity I feel right down to the tips of my toes, as if every press of his mouth against mine will further solidify his love for me. Finn groans and swipes his tongue deep into my mouth before I tease him, nearly breaking the kiss but letting Finn chase me back into it with a low growl. He tastes like whiskey, rich and warm, and I could get drunk off of that alone. The need I feel is a living thing, nested deep in my bones, and when Finn surges closer, I wonder if it really is possible to go mad from wanting someone this much. Dramatic maybe, but I'll be damned if I care, because if temptation were a living thing, its name would be Finnegan Casimir. Yes! Hana, yes. Finn murmurs against the slick tangle of our kiss, sweeping his hands down my sides. Stay with me, if I could. I can't. I have to make a choice. I have to meet with August. Yes. Finn pulls away with a sorry whimper, a sad look in his impossibly pretty eyes. Very well, but you'll come back? I'll come back? Sure. Finn carefully snakes my chin and lifts my face back towards his own, bringing our mouths together in approval, the kiss shattering in its gentle intensity. I almost feel bad. I almost don't want to do it anymore. I almost don't want to do this anymore. You know what? Fuck it. No, I ain't gonna hurt Finn like this. What was I thinking? No, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it, you guys. I don't. Hey, you guys. Okay, what do we do? I don't know. I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm starting to second guess my choice because, like, what would happen if we said yes? Like, we said to Finn we're gonna come back. Like, I don't know. Or I don't know how it's gonna play out if we do it. And I'm really, part of me wants to not do it, but then the other part of me was just like, well, how will it play out? I want to know, because we can either, Harry can either take us right into the dungeon and kind of like do his thing with us and turn us into a monster, and we'll never see the light of day again, and we'll never see like Finn again, or that whole scene where it's like we're supposed to ambush him in the forest, but you know, instead of refusing to drink the vial that he offers us, then we do it. we like drink it. So like, okay, I'm so sorry, Finn. I am so sorry. I love that man so much, but I am so sorry. For science! And yet those words toll like a bell inside of my chest. My curiosity gets the better of me, and I feel like Harry holds the universe in his palms, and he's offering it to me. Tell me how you did it. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so apparently the dialogue plays out the same way, so I'm just gonna skip on it. No, okay, no, my mistake, my mistake. Anyways, we're still gonna do this. Okay, it's this part that's the most important. We have the three choices here that you guys see. Either you pledge alliance, condemn but lie to him, but or outright condemn. We're gonna say I understand. Harry dropped the bomb on us. He's like, come, like I can offer you this power if you like, go along with me, kind of thing. So let's do it. Let's do it! The look August shoots me is sharp, incredulous, the expression cracking open to reveal a vulnerability I've never seen before. It's beautiful but frightening in its own way. As if I can hear them say no, don't. And yet, oh my god. To have such power, to be the one to stop them, to be their protector. Well, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Yes, of course. Oh, you have my cooperation. Uh-oh. The end of chapter 8. Okay. Ooh, right, okay, there we go, okay. So we're gonna skip out that first little bit that seems to, like, kind of bugged itself. You have my cooperation. There you go. What's gonna happen now? The drip, drip, drip of water upon stone drowns out the rush of blood in my ears, and I follow the tall figure deeper into the darkness. Okay, so he's taking us down to the dungeons. Okay, so his boots are heavy, steps echoing, and I can hear the gentle scratch of his claw-clipped gauntlets as he drags his fingers along the metal bars of the cells as we pass. Okay, guards stand to attention, their eyes wide, and I slowly begin to see why the enforcers had so dutifully followed his nefarious plan. They're terrified. Okay, is this gonna play out the same way? He's gonna show us the girl. I forgot her name again. I'm so sorry, but like, is he gonna show us the girl and what he did, and then how is it gonna be in the forest? Is he gonna tell us to meet him in the forest again? So we came to a halt outside of one of the farthest cells, and that sits in the dark. Okay, I'm gonna skip out on this, you guys, okay? Okay, there we go. So, the conversations played out the same way. Harry is showing us Aya, that was her name. And before, when we were just going along with it, saying like, oh, like this is really bad kind of thing. I agreed with Harry when he said, my proudest creation, yeah, she's truly a work of art, don't you agree? So I clear my throat, reaching up to curl my fingers around one of the bars. I feel drawn to her, an almost undeniable connection. I can feel the lingering threads of her humanity, of the hunter within her, and it sings to me like a prayer. She's perfect. Okay, so not quite, but close. Okay, now he's gonna go on to tell us that, like, the experiments have all been, like, not as successful because he realizes that you need to be willing participant for this. Okay, so are we back? Are we back with Harry? Because it says the thing is with we. So Harry, okay, so regardless, come, I have much to do. So I cast Aya a final fleeting glance and I steal my gaze as I follow Harry out of the dungeons. Okay, so we don't leave ourselves, because obviously Harry has big plans for us. Big plans. So as we approach August's office, the lack of light streaming from beneath the door tells me that we'll find it empty. Okay, so Harry tuts when my suspicions are confirmed, and he looks at me with a sad smile when we step inside. Yes, I did hope they'd still be here. Maybe you would have been able to convince them to help. I offer him a sad smile, knowing nothing could change August's mind. Not him, not me. Now, the terms of our agreement. He flexes his fingers off of his gauntlets, the steel creaking quietly. Aya is increasingly volatile, and I loathe to admit that I can't control her any longer. So I want to waste no time. We'll start you on your first dose right away. Then he reaches into his coat and produces a vial. It feels eerily familiar. The sight of the dark viscous liquid encased in delicate glass makes my skin prickle with heat. He holds it high, gazing at it, shamelessly proud of his brilliant creation. I'd give anything to be able to take it. I suspect I'd withstand it quite beautifully. Sure. The moonlight that shines through the window hits the glass, the liquid more black than the red I remember from my dream. My fingers twitch, longing to reach out and snatch it from his grip. But we can't have all what we wish for, can we? Instead, we'll do it together. Together. He tucks the vial back into his pocket, patting the heavy fabric. Okay, now I suppose you better go home and get some well-deserved rest. You'll need your strength. We'll begin tomorrow. Yes, Lieutenant General. Oh, okay. So he steps forward to rest his hand upon my shoulder, fixing me with an earnest, almost fond gaze, like a father would look at a favorite child. Please, friend, call me Harry. Friend? You and I will save the world together, Strangely, I feel like we just might. Oh my god, this is so fucked up. Okay, so I contemplate my next move. I could drag myself back to my room at the Wolf and drown in misery alone, I suppose. They say hunters sleep with one eye open, but enforcers sleep with two, and you don't get as far as Harry without painful attention. But weirdly, for the first time, probably since I've graduated from the academy, I feel like I might get the best night's sleep of my life. Okay? Though I have some explaining to do, I know it will be all worth it in the end. Soon they'll all see that I truly mean to mend the cracks and fissures that have been brought upon this world by the things that do not belong here. An enforcer passes me, sparing me a glance before they quickly avert their gaze, their head down. They scurry away from me quickly, and I almost smile, fascinated at how fast gossip apparently travels in our dear agency. With a heavy sigh, I decide that the best thing to do will be to sleep off this evening, and to face the wrath of my friends in the morning. Unless they get to me first. Despite the hour, there's hardly anyone in here, and my eyes are immediately drawn to a pair of hunched figures in the familiar enforcer black and gold in the corner. The attention isn't reciprocated, and they stay where they are, muttering amongst themselves. Just some colleagues enjoying some cheap booze after work, nothing more. There's no reason to believe Harry would spy on me so openly. But I know he'll at the very least keep an eye on me. Then something pulls me from my thoughts, a familiar chill, a prickling awareness. Finn is near. I search the room for him and I spot him watching me from a quiet corner, a bottle of whiskey cradled in his iron palm. He looks miserable. Oh no! I'm so sad! I take a deep breath and my heart hammers as I approach and take a seat opposite him. Finn, I imagine my surprise when August Willenheim shows up at my door in the middle of the evening in such a state that they can barely speak. I swallow thickly, willing away the lump that forms in my throat. They told me you went with him. Yes. Is that true? A pause, and he composes himself. I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever see you again. A silence fills the gap between us as he studies me. Never have I felt uncomfortable under his gaze. Then he turns his attention to the half-empty bottle, his fingers gently tracing the etching in the glass. He knows me so completely now, the pattern of my heartbeat, the steady rhythm of my breathing. He sees through everything, and I feel it bone deep. I expect him to be angry, and he likely is, but he's had centuries to perfect the mask he wears. Instead, he questions me, golden eyes finally flicking upwards to meet my gaze. Go on then, what did our Lieutenant General say to you? I do this of my own free will, Finn. I do this, and no one else gets hurt, don't you see? His eyes darken, narrowing at my response. You think Azazel wanted to hurt those people, Aya? Aya? Their own kind, hunters, your colleagues, because I don't. I stare at him blankly, and he reaches for me, his fingers cold against my skin, where they curl around my wrist almost delicately, like I might break. But I am not fragile. I would never hurt you. He shakes his head, a smile hooking at the corner of his lips, but it isn't a sweet one, not one that I'm used to. No, it's bitter. Who are you? I'm still me, Finnegan, just... I search for the right words. I was barely able to take down Azazel with you by my side, but with Harry, I'll be so much more. With every word, Finn's face become more pained, morphing from sadness to anger. Only a fool would consider Harry's lies to be truth. The cold tone of his voice makes me shift uncomfortably, and I can sense the creature that Finn once was lurking beneath the surface. I feel it far more now, in this moment of pain, than I did when we fought Azazel. I reach out, taking the bottle and carefully prying it from his fingers, removing the distraction so that his focus is on me and me alone. Let me explain. His eyes flick to the side, surveying our surroundings, and when he next speaks, his voice is quiet and commanding. Not here. He eyes the two enforcers I'd clocked on my way in with caution. I turn my hand beneath his, lacing our fingers together and squeezing reassuringly. It's okay, I have nothing to hide. He huffs a quiet but almost bitter laugh, gently tugging himself free of my grip. You may not, but I am not on their side. I resign myself to the fact that he longs for privacy, so I stand, and Finn follows me as I head for the stairs. Man, I feel so bad. The second the door to my room closes, Finn steps close, staring me down. Don't try and explain your actions with smooth words. I watched Levi justify his terror for centuries. I will not stand for you to do it too. Who said anything about terror? I'm just trying to do the right thing. I'm just trying to do the right thing. Let's just try to soften this a little. Let's just try to soften this a little. This is a lot more drama than I anticipated, but you know what? I should have known. Yes, I almost want to curl my fingers in the front of his shirt and shake him, beg him to see what it is that I'm trying to do. Finn, I'm just trying to do what I feel is right. Do you not trust me? He closes the gap between us and takes my face in his hands, my knees almost buckling from the tenderness of it. Tell me then, what did he ask of you? Prove me wrong, please. I take his wrist in my hand, squeezing him tightly, hoping his touch never leaves me. I can protect you if it's me. He exhales sharply, a disbelieving huff, and his sadness is palpable, painful. His thumbs brush over the apple of my cheeks, and there are tears in his eyes. They're red. I will not stand by and watch the woman that I love do this to herself. I hold his wrist tighter, but Finn is stronger than me, and he frees himself from my grip with ease. If you can come to your senses, you know where to find me. Oh no! My breath catches as I watch him turn and reach for the door, and in the blink of an eye, Finn is gone. Damn! Oh my god! Strangely, I wake with a clear head. A newfound clarity has settled over me, and though I'm apparently expected to move onward without someone standing supported by my side, I feel hopeful. As a hunter, you're expected to be a solitary creature, no future, just service. But now I can see it all, laid out in front of me. I think back to all the near misses, the almost defeats, the agony and the strange beauty of the life that has been forced upon me. And now I get to take something for myself, to be strong, to be the strongest. In turn, I can protect those I love, truly protect them. Maybe then they'll see that my intentions are good. I've been a monster for so long without even knowing, so what harm will it do if I take it a little further? I don't want to become a literal monster. Like, man, we're sent to face things that are sometimes far beyond the mental capacity of normal people to handle, are told to kill them, vanquish them. The work is cloaked in pride, the populace's unease hidden in empty praises and high pay. But after some time kidding yourself, you know there's a high chance that whatever humanity you have left has begun to slip away. That the handlers you have no choice but to see you not even as soldiers under their command, but as valuable yet ultimately expendable assets, for the goal of the greater good, for the protection of humanity. Now all I need to do is wait for darkness to fall and hope that when the time comes, my friends will see that I was right. I mean, man, it's dusk in Lunaris. My feet are sore, my eyes tired, and all I can think about is how much I can't wait for all this to be over. In school, they trained us to kill monsters, and the irony of my current predicament does not escape me. For too long, Harry has sat untouched in his corruption. He's made the mistake of underestimating the inhabitants of the sleepy town, exploiting it for his own gain, petty revenge for his own weakness. Most importantly, he has underestimated me. I'm no one's puppet. The feeling of dread that had been a constant in the pit of my stomach since I arrived has long since dissipated. I sink further into the town, and with each step I feel bolder, stronger. I walk with purpose through the narrow streets, hyper-focused on the task in hand. The sky above me begins to turn from purple to an inky infinite black. I turn a corner and I'm met with the familiar sight of people moving to get inside as the darkness overtakes the town. The sound of doors slamming and locking echoes off the crooked stonework. Curtains are drawn, windows close, and then, yes, darkness. Although the stars are shining brightly at a glance and the crescent moon hangs low, neither offer much light. I think back to the first night I arrived and how much life has changed since. A lump forms in my throat as I realize that I've been gifted what I haven't known since childhood, a home, a family to call my own. So many things that have been taken from me, from all of us. I strain my shoulders, taking a deep breath. No more. I'm ready to reclaim what truly belongs to us. Then I think about Finn, the man who has fought to become good despite living through lifetimes surrounded by evil. It's one of the things I hold most dear about him, and I realize how desperately I love him now that he is as essential to me as air is to my lungs. I cannot bear the thought of anything taking him from me, or I from him. My chest aches as I think of the last time I saw him. Soon I'll be able to return to his embrace. Soon he'll understand and we can be together again. Determination licks through my bones and I pick up my pace, boots heavy and loud against the cobblestones. The instincts that have been ingrained in me surge. I know that I will win this fight. After all, I haven't lost one yet. Okay, so yes. I can feel eyes upon me watching, waiting. Though their gazes may once have felt reassuring, I can tell they lie in wait in the thick of the woods for another reason. Is it to protect me or to stop me? Either way, we're at an impasse. Yeah, I think back to my brief times with James, and while it was an unwarranted tragedy, James didn't see this through. Not as I will. Then footsteps, a rhythmic crunch, crunch, crunch. Hello, Harry. And there he stands, bathed in darkness, his sharp gauntlet resting proudly atop the pommel of his sword. He smiles. Are you ready? I step closer to him, toe to toe, and I eye his jacket, knowing that the vial rests inside. I want it. I want it, I am. He makes a show of it, his smile smug, like a proud parent as he retrieves it. Once again he holds it high, and my mouth pools wet at the thought of the power I'm about to consume to swallow down. Harry sighs, gazing at me fondly as he takes my hand in his own, laying the delicate glass in my palm and closing my fingers around it. A toast to new beginnings. Oh, here we go! He steps away, his hand once again coming to rest upon his sword, and he watches me carefully as I pry the cork free. The smell overwhelms me, a copper, rich tang, but there's an edge to it, something dark. I bring it to my lips and I drink it. And I drink. I have an instinctive reaction to hold my breath, the air around me growing thick, almost suffocating. I'm warm, but deep in my bones it is ice cold. I feel sick, retching and heaving, yet I can feel unparalleled strength surge through me. My heart beats so frantically it rattles the cage in my chest, and I wonder for a fleeting moment if it's trying to break free. There's a quiet hum, an almost melodic cacophony of whispered voices in my mind, surrounding me, luring me in. Their words make no sense, don't even register as human, but somehow I understand. A ghost of a touch caresses my neck, fingers cold, a gentle thing. A crack of bone, lungs strangled and restricted, and I find myself falling, my knees hitting the dirt with a sickening thud. I dig my nails into the grass, clawing, tearing chunks from the earth in my agony, but I power through. I want this, I want this, I want this. I swear I hear Finn call my name. My throat closes and suddenly the pain intensifies as I see flashes of myself, young, a similar vial in hand. Nobody ever remembers that night, but now I feel the agony twofold as memories become indistinguishable from reality. My body fights the concoction as it surges through my veins, and I gasp for air. The edges of my vision blur, darken, and for a brief moment I panic. Gritting my teeth, I cry out, guttural and raw, clawing at my throat so I can breathe, and then... What? I die? Perfect clarity. Oh, perfect clarity? My eyes open, everything blurry as I initially come to. Whoa. Blinking, I clear away the remnants from earlier, and the night sky framed by treetops comes brilliantly into focus. I remember waking from my initiation feeling strong, everything sharpened to a razor's edge. A smile creeps across my face as I take in my brand new world. That was child's play. Hannah, look at you. And now you know that working with me is the right of it. I don't need you. Stay silent, let him speak. I don't need you. Let's try to turn this around. Let's try to turn this around and be like, yes, fuck you. I only meant to use you. Ha. Let's do that. I don't need you. I stand firm, my fingers hovering over my own weapon. You've given me what I need, and I don't see what else you can offer me now. His booming laugh echoes around the clearing, and he steps forward, his stride slow and purposeful. Just like that, you're done with me? I nod, a mock laugh of my own. You gave up your secrets too soon, Harry. You thought you could find in me an ally, but you've only made your opponent stronger. Harry's sure demeanor changes, and his shoulders stiffen, eyes narrowing as I speak. Do you think you're still relevant now? How are you going to stop me? After all, you're no hunter. The comments sink its way under his skin, and he knows now the clear line that I've drawn before us. Don't be so full of yourself, Hunter. I may have granted you a gift, but do not bare your teeth at your maker. I still embody the righteousness of our order, the will that protects us all. So he rights himself, posture strong, again enforcing he has the upper hand and will not falter. You trained all those years just to defy the very one that has guided you, shaped you? Laughable. Then he stills, pressing his palm to his chest. I swear that no night will be traversed in fear, that morning will be a promise and not a hope. I swear I shall lay down my life in the cause of my duty to protect the vulnerable from the creatures of this realm and any beyond it. Until my final breath, I pledge myself to you, body, mind, and soul. The pledge, the oath that we take before consuming the elixir they fed us. The words still ring true, but the man behind it is unfit to keep his station. And yet you never took that oath, did you, Harry? Yes, you couldn't possibly fathom the weight that those words carry. He drops his hands back to his weapon, and he laughs again. You're right, I'm not a hunter. I was never worthy, but I have loved a hunter, and I've seen the things they must endure. Okay, so we got through it, okay? we didn't turn ugly and lose control. So that's great. So let's see what's gonna happen here, because the whole speech thing is happening again where we're defying him. So I almost want to scoff at him, to laugh in the face of his supposed understanding. He may have loved the hunter, but he killed him too. His arrows cost James his life, a mistake I will not make myself. So what now? Do you intend to kill me? I disagree. Vicariously living through us has done you no favors. You've only made mistakes. He pauses, eyes narrowed, and then he inclines his head. Careful now, Hunter Lee. The elixir granted you power, not a bigger ego. Or do you have it in you now to think you can do better? I nod once, firm in my resolve. Harry has gone on for too long thinking he's untouchable, that there's no better. I can and I will. You've only made that easier for me now. General Addington will be very familiar with me now when he thinks back on being safe in his position of power. His friendly and familiar disposition changes, visage darkening, and the gravity of how his fortune has changed sinks in. Do you intend to what? Do you intend to what? Kill me now? Commit murder? Or are you going to get your vampire to do it for you? I freeze at the mention of Finn, fingers tight around my weapon, my knuckles bleeding white. Harry notices and he's pleased with himself. Might not be such a smart move. I killed his sire after all. Levi was far stronger than Finnegan. He pouts at me, feigning innocence when he sees the sour look I can't help but offer him. We did just fine killing your failure. Yeah, we did just fine killing your failure. Pointedly, he chooses to ignore that, and he passed the empty pocket where the vial had been, as if he's forgotten the choice is gone. He watches me as I look at him, and I can't help but feel myself smell the negative space there. Harry glores at me, his eyes sharp. I carefully hid in fury behind them at my deception. You should reconsider your position. Stronger you might be, but you couldn't possibly rule the masses as I have. The moonlight silhouette him, and I see he is an impressive figure to have come so far. Clever, methodical, and ruthless. He did what was necessary, and with that I can agree. But that is where our similarities end. You're right, I won't make the same mistakes as you. He sighs, so confident it's a shame. For a brief moment he motions to me in respect, like a farewell to an old friend. We both know it's just the pleasantries of a bad business transaction for one party. Since you won't see reason, let's just get this over with, shall we? Final chance, Hannah. Nope, join me. Nope. I don't need to hesitate in my response. Never. Calmly he smiles, flexing his gauntlet. Okay, so there we go. So Aya comes in. I wonder if this fight was going to be a little bit more easier now that we've gotten like this boost, this elixir boost. So yeah, I'm gonna just go skip on through this. Okay, so the fight goes on with Aya coming into play again, but since we've taken the elixir, the potion, whatever the fuck, we're like having extra thoughts in which her presence is like affecting us in a way, and also how our fight was gonna go. So we had commented how like even though Harry's getting ready to fight us and that he's really powerful and he's really strong too, I parry his heavy blows with ease, trained to anticipate every move things far more cunning than him might make. So there you go. And it's even easier now than it has been before. I wonder if he's scared of me, a twist he didn't see coming in his plan. So yeah, and Aya comes in, and then we're like distracted by her. So he stops staring me down with wild eyes. So I feel drawn to her, a stronger connection than in the dungeon. It leaves me feeling euphoric. So Harry's like, look at what you could have, what we could have. So though I steel myself, knowing I'll keep my sanity, my mind intact, and something more. Perhaps, but she's still mindless, without control, right? A pretty pet for a master she doesn't heed. Harry narrows his eyes at me, fingers tightening around the hilt of his sword. Yeah, so he fights, we fight. So I'm fighting a man I do not want to kill, maybe not yet, but he fights for his life against me. I need to subdue him and fast because in my peripheral I can see Aya lurking, and I know that Harry doesn't have any semblance of control over her. So there she comes, and then when Aya does set her crimson eyes upon Harry and I see daggers glint in the moonlight. Oh yeah, then Piper comes in. She comes in and she fights Aya. Okay, so the way the fight is like playing out right now is that it's sort of the same in the sense where like Harry is still trying to fight us, but in between it all we are just commenting how like it's actually way easier to like read him. We can see through him, what he's trying to do, and we take advantage of like his weakness and what he's trying to cover up, which is basically he's actually scared almost, where he's like fighting desperately because he knows that he can't win against us now that we took the elixir. So yeah, so he would try to do the dagger trick, the Arya dagger trick that we saw in Game of Thrones. So we try to do that, but it changes to still determined. Harry releases one of his hands from the hilt of his sword, stopping the dagger before it can meet a vulnerable point between his ribs. So he grimaces in pain when the dagger's edge slides against his palm, deep crimson slick on silver, and yet he still grips it with fervor. His body trembles, but he grins at me despite it all. Close. So I hear a crack, but it does not come from me. Harry pulls back from a headbutt with a satisfied grin, blood dribbling down his forehead, a slight haze in his eyes when I look. His glee comes to an end when he finds his surprise attack had little effect on me. My head tilts in wonder, and I decide I should return the favor. So he tried to do the headbutt that we did, what Wonder Woman did with like Superman, and Superman was unfazed, so we gotta do it back to him. So Harry hit me hard, but I hit back harder. I headbutt him back, and he lets out a pained guttural sound, leaving him stumbling and disoriented. He grips his sword with noticeably less conviction, as though staving off an invisible enemy. He tries to find me in the stars behind his lids. The course of this fight was already in my hands, but now it begins to close. I walk up to him and slash at his legs. He cries out, looking more and more like a wild animal. Harry falls back further, while I come even nearer. I can't hear the battle between Piper and Aya anymore, but I think I can almost hear Harry's heartbeat, pounding and racing, the blood stinging in his veins. So do not do this, Hunter. I am a better ally than I am a corpse. Yes, Harry spits blood furiously as he veils his pleas in promises of diplomacy. And yet you've gladly made corpses of your allies. I come closer still, weapon menacing, and he growls at my approach. With a feeble swing, he means to take my head. Before his attack can make its mark, it's repelled by a brilliant flash. Hello! So that haze, the smell, and that aura still fills my senses, and I know exactly who it is. Augustus. Yes. Harry strides backwards as August stalks forward, cracks of magic snapping at him with palpable intensity. He clutches his sword like a lifeline, trying to quell the rampaging torrent of magic hitting him repeatedly. I stand and watch as August enters the stage, but they don't look at me. Though they may be angry at Harry, their magic looks erratic, akin to when they feel distressed. Their body shakes with lingering static as they finally relax, eyes aglow in the darkness. Harry spits blood, finally faltering on the onslaught, and his body gives way, falling to his knees. August then appears at my side, scanning me for any injuries, but I wave them off, adrenaline still coursing violently through my veins. I'm fine. They don't speak, only looking at me with thinly veiled disgust, disappointment. Damn! I turn my attention to Harry. Do I still look pretty though? I hope I still look pretty though. Okay, so there, we got him where we had him last time as well too. Yep, so yeah, there we go. He's just really tired, a little bit injured, but overall, still alive. I remember the taste of it, the vial cold in my palm, a gentle, encouraging smile from the enforcer who handed it to me, a child so eager to please and feel loved after being taken from their family. Magic and the blood of other, foreign things coursing through my body, seeping and sinking deep into my bones like an incurable infection. I said my vows and took my oath, and I became theirs. I have been faithful to their cause, all of us have, and this is where it ends. I'm stronger than him, better than him. This is where I break it, yes. Okay, so we'd be like, yeah, bitch, we cool. So the quiet. I wonder how this is gonna end then. So no matter how long I live, there is one sight, one moment that I could never erase from my mind. Harold Addington on his knees. Okay, so there we go. He's thrown in jail. August and I do not speak. In fact, they haven't spoken since the enforcers burst into the clearing and grabbed their leader by their shoulders, yanking him away from my weapon. A shame, really. It would have been honorable of him to die on the battlefield. I almost don't notice August stopping before me, their long fingers curled around the bars of the door that separates us from the line of cells, and they take a deep, shuddering breath. I stare them down, waiting dutifully like a good pet, keeping up the facade, even though I know I could raise this town to the ground if I so desired. When they finally do speak, their voice is quiet and strained, almost broken. I'm not sure I want you present for this. I'm not even sure I want you near me at all. Damn! Their words sting like a solid right hook, but I shake it off. You know I have every right to be in there. Fine, let's just get this over with. Right. Oh my god, y'all, our friendship. So sad. Like, I know what I did is wrong, but like, I still came out of it on top, right? Every enforcer that lines the seemingly never-ending corridor stands to attention when they see us, and I wonder who they're being so beautifully obedient for. Did words of my accomplishments travel this fast, or is it that with Harry chained in the cell, they're respecting their new, albeit temporary, Lieutenant General August? So the loud click of August's heel dragged me from my musings as they stride past the dungeon guards with purpose, but their eyes are still down, not a trace of the usual authoritative way that they hold themselves. I followed dutifully, trying not to feel overwhelmed by the way everything around me seems so much brighter, so much more real. It's a prickling awareness, like there's a fire in my fingertips buzzing and building, waiting for release. I can feel the pull of dried blood upon my skin, not entirely sure if it's Harry's or mine, but I know that he managed to get more than a few hits in on me. Impressive, I suppose, all things considering. I think about how weak I would be had I not improved myself, still a pathetic semi-human with broken bones and sore muscles, or I'd be dead. August approaches the head guard that's stationed opposite Harry's cell. Report. General Willingham, Lieutenant, no issues. He has been, talking to himself. Yes, so yeah, that was that. So there's that. I might skip out on all these dialogue just because it might play out the same way. We get the option of telling Harry if he gets a trial or not, so there's that. Oh yes, okay. I'm pretty sure he's gonna comment. So, well, look at you, pretty as a picture. So he's stripped of his weapon and his enforcer attire, left in nothing but muddy trousers and a blood-stained shirt. Somehow he still manages to look refined, even through the bruises and cuts that litter his handsome face. I almost admire his tenacity. He put up a good fight knowing he'd never win, but then maybe he didn't want to. He sits with his back against the wall, his knees drawn tight to his chest, arms casually slung over them. The golden glint of his wedding ring catches my eye and he twists it around his finger. His cheeks are ruddy, yes. Yes, is Augustus hiding? Come out. I glance at August. They curl their hands into fists, their eyes still shut. Don't you want to talk to me? That hurts, Harry. Harry stands, the movement clearly a great effort for him. He grimaces as he straightens up, watching me watch him as he approaches the bars, and his demeanor shifts into something more familiar, something hardened. You are a worthy opponent, Hannah. I haven't hurt like this in decades. I suppose I have you to thank for that. Yeah, Harry curls his fingers around the bars, his face half illuminated by dull candlelight, half bathed in shadows. He looks older than I remember, beaten down, but still no less interested in me. His finest creation, yes. Come on, Augustus. I told you were coming to tell me my fate. Don't be so shy, Lieutenant. I was told you were coming to tell me my fate. Don't be so shy, Lieutenant. I step forward as close as I can without giving him the opportunity to try something stupid that would result in him receiving a broken arm. August still doesn't budge. Looks like it falls to me. Isn't that poetic? Yes. Yeah, you had your chance, you hesitated. Hunters do not hesitate. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm so much more than a hunter now. So he snarls, teeth bared like an animal as he leans forward and presses his face between the bars. I'm sure we can come to some kind of arrangement. You need me. No, I need you like I need a migraine. Harry chuckles, pouting. Do not speak ill of your creator, Hunter. Be quiet. Harry doesn't flinch, doesn't so much as blink. And then he looks at me like he's proud, like a father would look at his child. The one that I called here to serve as my greatest creation is the one who finally decides my fate. Beautiful, I suppose. It's all coming full circle. I watch the bob of his throat as he swallows, his eyes fixed upon me and only me. Go on then, Hunter Lee. Do your worst. Yes, sentence him to death. Oh, we can sentence him to death. Oh my god. Should we do that? I mean, we've gone all the way right now. This is something entirely different too. So like we all know how it will end up if we imprison him for life. So let's just sentence him to death. Let's just do it. I think about all the oaths that I've taken and how utterly meaningless they now feel. I gave my life to the cause and it got me nowhere. But defying the cause, that got me here, made me stronger and better than anyone else. More capable of actually saving humanity than I ever would have been otherwise, than anyone would have been. The problem is that everyone has different definitions of what doing the right thing is. Harry has convinced himself that he's done no wrong, that he's handed me a new perfect life on a platter. Maybe he has, but that doesn't mean I trust him. What could he be capable of if he escaped? He could know things about what transformation I'm going through and that I don't. Though he could also use them against me. He could still be my downfall. My hands shake at the thought of it, itching to curl around his throat and choke the life from him myself. I gather that you wanted me to kill you if what you said back in the clearing is anything to go by. He scoffs. You hesitated. I didn't hesitate. I simply took my time. It was nice seeing you on your knees at long last. But if death is what you want, death is what you'll get. Only now does August look at me, their eyes burning violet in my peripheral. They almost look like they're about to say something, but they think better of it and turn, walking away. I wait until the sound of their footsteps filters off into an echo. They don't deserve to hear me condemn the man they've cared for to death. You must pay for what you've done, Harry. I sentence you to die. Goodbye. I don't give him time to react. I simply turn and walk away. I swear I hear him say thank you. Ah, wow. I find August in their office standing before the window that overlooks Lunaris. The town is peaceful at this hour, the townsfolk tucked safely in their beds. August doesn't turn to face me, even though I know they're fully aware of my presence. What you did, yes. Then they do turn. Their expression is one of utter disappointment. I don't even know who you are. Why? Why did you do that? They hold up their hand, dismissing me. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want an explanation. Nothing could ever excuse you poisoning yourself. I close my mouth, accepting that August will not be swayed tonight. I think that this is all just a terrible misunderstanding. I only wish I knew how terribly you disappoint me. Then I wouldn't have allowed myself to come to care for you, to think of you as a friend. Damn, August, you're hurting my feelings. I find myself lost for words. Get out and let it be the last time I see you. Damn! They just kicked me to the curb. They just been like, friendship over. The second I step outside of the headquarters, I'm pulled into a crushing embrace. His cold skin feels so good against my own, and for the first time, his strength doesn't bother me. He doesn't feel as solid. Not like him holding me like this usually would. Though I'm not granted his touch for long, he pulls away quickly with wide, angry eyes. What the hell did you do to yourself? Are you insane? Not insane, no, resourceful. He scoffs, staring at me in disbelief. You really think you won, don't you? You think that was the answer. His burning gaze flickers over every inch of me, and I almost wither under his scrutiny. His aura is messy, a jumble of flickering, unreadable thoughts and emotions. Then he takes my face in his hands, his brows drawn together. You are not the same, not the person I fell in love with. No! I can smell it on you, the stench is suffocating. He carefully runs his thumbs over my cheeks, a ghost of a touch, his eyes shifting from the smell of the blood that lingers upon my skin and clothes, getting blacker, brighter. I almost think he might bite me, swallow me whole even. In some sad way I wish he would, just to see if it would work, if it would stick. I curl my fingers around his wrist and step close, desperately needing him to continue touching me, even if he kills me afterwards. I'm still me, Finn. I'm stronger now. Nothing can touch me. Finn exhales and closes his eyes, resting his forehead against mine. No, you're not. It won't be long until there's nothing left. I shake my head. You're wrong. I won't let it consume me. Finn laughs, pushing away and prying himself from my insistent grip. You're a fool. He steps backwards, far enough away from me that I can no longer feel that prickling awareness that skitters across my skin when he's near. I realize that maybe he doesn't want me to. I need to go. I just wanted to see that you were unharmed. Silly, I suppose, that I thought anything could possibly touch you now. I'm not a monster, Finn. I did this for you, for everyone. He laughs again, but it's far more bitter this time, through gritted fangs. You did it for yourself. You might not be a monster yet, but you will be, and I won't be here to watch you fall. Dang! Before I can respond, he's nothing but a shadow, a twist in the fog that gathers at my feet. He's gone, and I'm left with nothing but the darkness as my friend. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to you once again. I don't even know. Time seems to pass so quickly for me now. I feel more in tune with absolutely everything around me, like I was granted renewed senses. I suppose I was, really, knew everything. I'm so much more aware of my skin than I ever recall being. It feels tight, and sometimes I swear that it crawls. The closer I look, I realize that it does. It's been 3 months since the night that I decided I wanted to be more, and more I am. Am I ugly now? The once heavy doors to the iBack opened with ease, and I see a tall, familiar figure silhouetted against the cracked stained glass window that frames the pulpit. A figure that I've been looking for, one that seemed to have disappeared. I always knew she'd come back. Her hands are clasped before her, as they always are, but this is the first time I've seen her smile, really smile. I approach slowly, but without caution or apprehension. Is this Aurora? I feel strangely at home here now, and the curious way in which Aurora is regarding me only serves to feed my confidence. Her once alarming words echo in my mind, words of how humanity is but a waste, how the monsters that lurk in the shadows are the true saviors of our story, but somehow now they're a comfort to me. Well, Hunter Lee, you look resplendent. I don't know if I'd call it that, but I feel incredible. Her smile morphs into a smirk, the corner of her blood-red lips rising. Then she appraises me, tilting her head this way and that. I feel scrutinized, but she certainly doesn't look displeased, more curious. What you did was impressive. I thought little of you when you first arrived and continue to do so actually. But your actions more than proved your worth. I do hope that the agency see you for what you truly are. And what is that? She spreads her hands, displaying her palms. It's a welcoming, almost triumphant gesture, and it's aimed at me. A miracle. Nice. There's a glint in her blue eyes, something almost wicked in nature, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure they'll come around when they hear my word, when they hear my ideas. She tilts her head again, crossing her hands in front of her once more. Ideas. There is no question that the agency and its ways are broken. If Harry was able to inflict this much damage without anyone so much as batting an eyelash, then the agency requires change, and I intend on being the one to initiate that. And what makes you think they'll allow? And what makes you think they'll allow that? You are just a hunter after all. Her mouth twists to the side as if she's trying to stifle a wider smile. She's toying with me, trying to rile me. That might not be such a good idea. I am so much more than just a hunter now. She laughs, a coy sound. I'm simply jesting. Hunter Lee, I'm well aware of how special you are. I can smell it on you. That's quite a talent. She steps forward and off the pulpit, down into the aisle where I stand. The slow click of her heels against the weathered tile echoes around us, and she comes to a stop mere inches from me. I've been around many creatures in my time, have come to know them intimately. In fact, but you're different, vastly. She reaches for me, giving me a careful glance, one that begs for permission, and I offer her my hand willingly. Her lashes dip when she presses her palm against my skin, my body running a colder temperature since I ingested Harry's concoction. Eyes closed, her head tipped skyward, and Aurora hums, her warm fingers curling tightly around my wrist. A smile crosses her lips once more, and this time it's something far softer. Oh. Her eyes snap open, and I'm struck by how bright they are. She withdraws her touch, albeit reluctantly. You're going to change the world, you know. I do hope that no one gets in your way. I won't allow it, not after all I've been through to get here. Not after all I've lost. Aurora nods, exhaling sharply, and if I'm not mistaken, there are tears in her eyes. Slowly she sinks to her knees before me, carefully placing her hands upon her thighs, and she gazes up at me with a kind of reverence that you would offer a god. Wow, okay, this is kind of weird. This is kind of creepy. Anything you need, I am at your service. Before I can gather my thoughts and respond, a shifting figure in one of the ibex mini shadows catches my eye. Our Morris. Aurora shakes her head as if she knows exactly what I've become distracted by. My brother is lost to us. He sides with the Hellspawn. Our Morris stares at me for a moment, and then he disappears back into the darkness. I thought he was firmly on your side. She curls her lips back over her teeth. They have corrupted his mind. I had hoped for him when he took a demon lover, but he disappoints me. They have too much empathy for the humans. He means to flee with her. I offer Aurora my hand and help her to her feet, and she brushes the dust from her skirt. My heart clenches painfully in my chest as I think of Finn. I have a feeling he won't be the only one leaving Lunaris. She doesn't move her hand from mine, and nor do I pull away. I need her on my side, and I can't help but wonder if there's more to Aurora than meets the eye. We cannot read the auras of humans, but with her, I can almost see something, a shimmer at her edges, something jagged, something that glistens. I didn't see it before, but I suppose when you've had your eyes open to a new world, when you really look, you can discover all numbers of curiosities. I want to offer you my loyalty, a partnership of sorts. I think we could work beautifully together. With your newfound ascension and my unparalleled connections, we would be unstoppable in spreading the word of your cause. Okay. Alright. We're gonna be part of a cult. Yay. Okay, let's just I'll think about it. The eagerness in which she watches me, it's almost a desperation. I feel like offering her any kind of solid response would surely be making false promises. I will have to think on it, but I assure you that I will. I have a lot on my plate, people I need to meet and impress. She clears her throat, nodding politely. I can see her disappointment, practically feel it rolling off of her in waves, but Aurora is not weak, and I know that she'd never dare show a kink in her carefully crafted facade. I appreciate that, and I eagerly await your decision, no matter how much time it may take. Know that I am here, at your service regardless. I should go. I have many things to prepare. Aurora nods, offering me a small courtesy. As you wish. Thank you, Aurora. I bid her farewell, watching her walk back up towards the lectern. She's once again silhouetted against the sunlight, her head tipped skyward, eyes closed, and her lips move in a silent prayer. I wonder if it's for me. Wow, okay. Sometimes I visit the place in which my ascension took place, just to stand and savor the moment that I became what I am today, or maybe to mourn the humanity that I left behind, though I'm still unsure if I miss the fragility that used to carry me. I'm still unsure of the breadth of my power, for Lunaris doesn't offer many chances for me to test it out. I have lost so many things, an equivalent exchange for the things that I gained in abundance, I suppose. The most cherished of my losses being the family that I found upon my arrival at Lunaris, but most painfully the love that Finn gave me, the feeling of belonging, of knowing that I had a future where I would fall asleep in arms that held me so tightly in return. I miss him so much that it plagues my every waking moment. I wonder that if you cut me open, would I still bleed red? Would there be a physical thing inside my chest that represents the heavy pain I carry with me wherever I go? Despite that pain, I know that eventually it will wither and die like the rest of my humanity. I know now that I'm faster, smarter, and less susceptible to harm. Just as Harry had promised. Thinking of Harry, it had been a while since I visited. I do like to show him how pretty his pet has become after all. Is it his grave? His grave? Oh no! By some bizarre twist of fate, I have become the one who will lead Lunaris. August didn't want it, refused to play a part in assisting me in my plans to thrust us in into a new era, in protecting Escria in a way like no one has even dared to think about. It's a shame, a waste. They would have made such a wonderful lieutenant general had they not disregarded my ascension so passionately. I smile at the my enforcers, that line the dungeon corridors as I walk to his cell. Harry still awaits his execution, and I still haven't changed my mind. Strangely, he hasn't begged me for his life, but neither has he promised me that he would never stab me in the back the first chance he gets. Maybe there's some satisfaction in him that gives peace, knowing that his legacy was inherited by me. Few will know his influence, but the waves of change reverberate by his hand. I imagine there is some bitterness, however, that I carry on better than he will. I approach his cell and spot him sitting in his bunk, twisting his wedding band as he always does. Harry. He slowly lifts his head and rolls his eyes at me, but can't hide the way that they light up when he sees me, however briefly that may be. Hannah, you look like shit, actually. You look like shit, actually. Well, thank you. I clear my throat, inclining my head. You could serve to be a little nicer to me, you know. Also, you say I look like shit is rich, right? Harry laughs, dusting off his dirty trousers. Annoying, really, that he still does actually look good, the perils of being classically handsome. Maybe it is. To what do I owe the pleasure of such a visit? Have you simply come to parade the fact that you still live? I smile at him. Maybe I just like to check in and see how you're faring. Is that a crime to show some kindness? Or maybe I'm strangely drawn to him, like a moth to a dying flame. Something about Harry keeps me coming back, keeps me wanting to impress him and show him that I'm thriving, even if my skin is pallid and my eyes have shifted into the color of clotting blood. Ow! The way he looks at me makes me feel more alive than anything else. I crave it. A creator complex, twisted and bent out of shape, a primal need to display all of that I've become to the only one who cares. He made me, or made the thing that did, and I have a desire to impress him, even though I loathe to feel this way. He sighs, lulling me from my thoughts. Come closer, let me get a better look at you. He stands straight, leaning against the bars, his fingers curled around them as I oblige. He reaches for me, taking my chin between forefinger and thumb, and sneers. You're withering away, just like the others. I'm disappointed. I slap his hand away, knocking it against the metal of his cage. Bullshit. What makes you think I would last this long? And all of a sudden, your theories continue to be ridiculous. I am unchanging. He rests his head against the bars, his blonde hair messy, his eyes sunken. Long gone are Harry's glory days. Now all he lives for is to watch me become everything he wanted for himself. He's just a bitter, jealous old man. Your hubris will be the death of you, just as I suspected it would. Hunters work in mysterious ways, and you are no exception. I feel my hands begin to tremble. There's that strange dancing desire to impress him, to shove his nose in the dirt, nad rage at each other like wild dogs. I think our fight was the last time I felt any excitement. I'll prove you wrong. Harry shrugs, backing away into the spot he's favored for days on end. Makes no difference to me. His distant eyes regard me for a moment, and I wonder. Everything dies, Hannah. Some things just do it faster than others. Damn, okay. My office is spacious, ornate, and beautifully outfitted for the arrival of its new owner. Though as lovely as it is, I find that it's also unable to retain its heat. The fire is always lit in the hearth, long stoked as the chill doesn't seem to ever dissipate. As celebrated as I am, the room seems meager still. Wallpaper thin. Walls paper thin, despite that those who constructed it insisting it's built to withstand the long winters of Esquria. A poor excuse because I don't believe them. What little respect they have for me, or perhaps fear. I approach my desk and drag a lazy touch across its smooth surface, circling to the seat behind it. The chair is plush and luxurious, a welcome place of comfort for long hours of paperwork. I settle in nicely, but again I find another flaw in my living quarters. When I look at my fingertips, the skin of them flares a dull red, scratchy and uneven in texture. Despite all the gloss on this desk, it still seems to have its blemishes. Annoying. As if the constant musty smell that lingers in the air wasn't already enough. I steeple my fingers and think this might be a good time for a small reprieve, until there's a modest knock on the door. Enter. When the door swings open, a recruit acting as a messenger steps through. I see them try to stride purposely towards my desk, but there's a moment where they pause, their nose scrunching briefly. Something in the air, just as I thought, and I feel myself grimace. They right themselves and turn to me fully, and in what seems to be their best attempt at addressing their superior officer, they make eye contact with me. The only way I can accurately describe their reaction is shriveling. Their eyes go wide, their hands clenching the missive more tightly than before, yet still they approach. For that I can at least commend them for having some shred of respect. They stop a few paces away from the front of my desk, and their lips tremble before parting. I'm probably rotting away, aren't I? Like, I'm literally decomposing right now. That's what the smell is. I have a message for you, Lieutenant General. They make no further attempt to come closer, and I sigh. Well, I wouldn't either. I stand and reach out to them over the desk, and they suddenly look as pale as I do. The desk is large, and they stand at least a foot away, but they're startled when I'm able to easily pluck the missive from their clammy hands. Theirs are pink and shaking, mine pallid and still. As I pull back, I see what looks like a bead of sweat rolling down their forehead. My brow arches at the sight. Are you unwell, soldier? Loudly they clear their throat and right their posture, head shaking. No, Commander, I am overheating a bit, however. Their gaze turns to the hearth. I scrutinize them for a moment or two, affixing them to the spot, and then I smile. I see, for a second there, I thought perhaps I was making you uncomfortable. There's no answer from them. Instead they bow, unable to look at me much longer, it would seem. My tongue clicks. Dismissed. They turn on their heel and exit the room in a hurry, the door slamming shut. I can still hear the frantic clicking of their boots further and further down the halls until they are no more. Only silence now. Is this how Finn would see me, as the recruit did? Or maybe I'd seem more familiar to him had he stayed. We are the same species in a way, after all. No. He said he smelled it on me that night, the stench of what I was to become. I do hate to be proven wrong. I know myself to be different. I know I'm not the same. I know. But does he know that I still love him in whatever corner of Esquire he fled to? I did this all for us. For what other reason would I take upon this other than to save everyone? They all misunderstand me, and I hope and I beg that they will see in time. The missive hangs loosely in my hand, and I let it roll onto the desk. There are too many thoughts now, too many concerns. I stand pushing away from the seat and find a full-length mirror next to my dresser. It seems a little bit arrogant, but looking upon myself to see how far I've come. Yes, it seems to be one of my only remaining comforts. Striding over to it, I appraise myself. My new uniform wears proudly on my frame, yet I can see it needs to be tailored again, too short in some places, a regular issue. Perhaps it's the stress from guiding the misled, but the flush of color in my face has left. I look a bit duller, but I stand taller and feel more alive, more aware. I can feel excited heartbeats and the thrill of animals in the forest beyond. I can smell the stench of rancid flesh from the market near the sea. I can even feel my skin and how it moves like a pupating larva, waiting to reach the next stage of ascension. I am different, I know. But I am better, and they will come to appreciate me in time. I will be different. I am more, and they will see. They will all see. Wait for me. I will have so much to show you when I'm done. Jesus Christ. So, there are many whispers about what became of hunters. Some say they vanished without a trace for mere months after they consumed the dreaded concoction, and others say that they still reside in Lunaris, having taken residence in the old Casimir catacombs. However, a strange creature often seen wandering the woodlands of Lunaris, the remaining hunters seen bringing themselves to the end of his life, for they say they recognize something in its red eyes. What? Really? What? So did we commit suicide in the end? Maybe. So yes, she pledged our alliance, and then she disappeared too. However, the sightings of Luna. Okay, and then she's like, okay, she's gone to live a life like a Disney princess. Okay, cool. And then the lieutenant, okay, to tell them that what he did is stoke his ego. Okay, so they hide what he did. Before his execution, Harry attested that he is confident that both his death and his accomplishments will be felt for years to come, and it will change the way the agency views their hunters. He was excited to finally be reunited with his beloved James. Okay, there we go. Oh no! What is this? Piper romance? Oh no, I guess that will change. So when the hunter betrayed their trust and friendship, August no longer stand to stay in Lunaris and watch its inevitable fall. Along with Ezra, they return to Algeria. Yes. So they go back home. Okay. So yeah, but they often do not allow themselves to check on them, afraid of what they might find. Bitterly disappointed with the Hunter's decision, Omen and Elcar soon depart Lunaris together, taking with them Elaine and her beloved Amoris, and forces spies manage to follow their trail to the edge of Escura, misty rural frontier, but quickly lose them afterwards. Perhaps it is all for the better, yes. And the two, yes. And then, yeah, Finn and Ezra left Lunaris soon after the capture of Harry, distraught by what had transpired and what had become of the hunter they once held so dear. They refused to remain and watch the inevitable downfall. Finn and his clan uprooted and followed the witch to his hometown Algeria, where him and August joined forces to take over the Willingham Academy for Witches. There you go. Wow. The end. Oh, that was dang. Okay. Well, shit. that's just too bad. Honestly, okay. Well, what was like? You know what? It's fine. Anyways, so I wonder, did I get all of his thing? No? Let's see. No, I did not, obviously. Okay, so I'm actually gonna go back and probably for another episode. Yes, probably for another episode, and we're gonna do it properly this time, where we get a happy ending with Finn. But now we know what looks to be like our quote-unquote bad ending. So there's that for all you who wanted to know what would happen if we went all the way with it. That's what happens. It sucks. It sucks. We're like, yeah, that's it. That's the price that we must pay. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching and tuning in for When the Night Comes. I hope this episode is quite the thrill ride for you. Don't worry about it. I will come back and I will finish up on Finn's route if I edit and things kind of go a little bit on the shorter side. I will definitely kind of squish it in, and you'll see that this cut will be a little bit awkward, so I'll stay it here for now as a send, like, you know, what's it called, a send off until the next time I see you in my little Let's Plays. So tune in then, but for now, bye.